Welcome to The Advocate, a program that thrashes out all the topical issues of the day.
When you are in government, you don't see nothing wrong with whatever is happening. The moment you are out there, everything is wrong.
You can't even see many women now, and when they're there, they're not even really making a mark, and then they have an NYSC problem and this and that.
One of the reasons why we don't have more women in politics in Nigeria is for as long as political meetings continue to take place in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
Really disastrous for a president
to even say
to be unaware of the chief
It's
justice.
a ploy. It could be a strategy.
That strategy was very terrible strategy. Because the buck stops at your table.
Whether it's that we don't look after our cities, and quite frankly, Nigeria is becoming a very ugly place.
When you are the only one feeding the people with this news, and there is nobody countering them, it becomes, the news.
Welcome to The Advocate, where we take on topical and diverse issues, no holds barred. On this, our 25th episode, rather than rest on our oars, we've increased the tempo. Ekene is the peacemaker on this edition and turns our attention to the matter of loyalty and the ties that bind us. Ireti brings out a progressive slant on a trending topic. Will I be giving it away if I say biceps, baseball cap, and business class? Uche is clear whose side she's on, as she says to our ladies, go for it. By which she means, ladies, propose to your man. Since some of us don't suffer fools gladly, I'll be seeking legal advice against our lawless siren-blowing motorcades right after this break. There's a certain army general whose official Toyota Land Cruiser is painted in camouflage colors. I always seem to bump into him in Victoria Island. When this person moves, the street is cleared for his passage. I really wonder who he is, what he does, why he is so scared for his life, and why he is always late to where he is going. There was joy when government announced all those years ago that her offices would move to Abuja. No more siren noises, we thought. Such uncivilized behavior. But we're wrong. Bank managers started to replace them. Certain wealthy people who had seen this style of moving about in Convoy joined the fray. A case of the fence not holding, too many bulls in the pen. So why is this our way? Are the lives of these people in such danger that they move around with so many cars, so many armed guard policemen? Not all are in danger. Not at all. They just see it as a way to flaunt their wealth. While their types in other countries pursue suitable charitable causes and development of the arts and culture, ours live a life of debauchery and profligacy. Our economy suffers. We have 10 years now to bust. Scary thought. But we are not turning things around. We are sinking further. We need to reduce our pay packets across board. We need to stop treating organizations like they are personal property. Checks and balances, which in some cases should be enshrined in our constitution. We need a new constitution, new improved orientation, lower wages for government workers and political office holders. We need to fight back. Is it fair for me to say that our lawyers ought to step up with advice to the rest of us about how we could go about these things? Any thoughts?
I think you want to say we need Liboris.
Honestly, I was going to say, it's a shame Liboris isn't here,
exactly,
But I'll tell you, so it's two parts of what you said. The one I disagree with, the other one I'm totally with you in that, all that nonsense about sirens and whatever. And it wasn't even just about, remember, it wasn't just about them moving to Abuja. Yes. It was even after that. There was also another amendment, because I wasn't here when that whole move to Abuja happened, but I remember since I've been here, there's been some sort of announcement, moratorium, whatever, knee-jerk reaction where they've said, look, you can't be going around in sirens anymore, and they will stop
officially,
it.
It's not
it's not allowed. Government workers, Chuka. The problem is, most people don't realize that the average civil servant isn't a high earner. It's the PR, Abi. That's what they call it. It's the PR. They call it PR. Okay. It's called PR in Nigeria, isn't it?
What was that?
It's the bit under the table, you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
It's the PR that makes them seem like they earn money.
Oh, right.
So I think we
I
need
was
to
waiting.
differentiate government workers to
political office holders. So I should remove the government workers from that
because I
sentence
think,
and leave the political office holders who earn too much.
Yes.
Okay.
Now talk to me about this Mr. Land Cruiser in his camouflage.
I actually saw him today.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I think I did. Yeah, because he was terrorizing me on my way in. Yeah, I mean, it got to the point where I was just like getting all really stressed out in the car. And then
could there be more than
the
one?
driver, they were like, it was a convoy.
Yeah.
It was him, and then there were several black cars behind him.
So and his is the one that's painted.
It's painted in camouflage. Yeah, which I actually noticed it because I thought that was odd.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that.
So maybe he has connections with people in that line of work.
No, he's
army.
He's in the army.
Yeah, because the people in the car were army.
On the car, but I can't tell you right now. He's either a brigadier or a major general.
Right. Okay.
One of the two, 1 star or 2 star.
Okay.
So that's really odd.
Yes, in camouflage.
Because you asked a very good question. You said, Chuka, you know, why do they need so many guards? And the foolishness of all of this is that the chances are, if he's going around in, I keep saying Datsun because I love Datsuns. They're such excellent cars, as you know. You know, the engineering of them was so brilliant. But if he was going around in a regular Corolla, no one would take any notice.
I say this all the time.
If they wanted to kill him, they wouldn't have a clue what to do.
Bulletproof, of course.
But even if it wasn't bulletproof, what I'm saying is, unless you know his number plate, how many Corollas are on the street?
He's drawing attention to himself.
But when you do all of that, you're drawing attention. I remember I shared that one on our group about, incidentally, it brings me to that one, the one that's terrorizing them, apparently, allegedly, in VGC.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a, what is it? Oh, good God, I can't remember his name. But there's a guy who apparently, I showed it on a group, who apparently is terrorizing them in VGC. So he comes, he has a Brabus. So I have to say allegedly, a Brabus.
Yes.
His number plate is Brabus. And he comes in with a convoy. Policeman, he's not a government official. He's not an army official. He's not anything. But so he comes into an apparent. You know who he is?
I know who he is.
I think some of us know.
Oh, really?
A mate of
yours. Oh, wow. He even knows the registration. But what's your point, though? I'm still waiting to get it.
Iriti is right. He's not in the army or government
or anything.
Yes.
He's apparently he sells flashy watches or expensive watches.
Okay.
But anyway, my point is apparently what happened and what made it, the reason it got into the paper is that when you drive beyond him, so if you drive past or try to overtake them, they come and beat you up. So a gentleman, young or man, I don't know whether he was young, was beaten up recently. So he made it into the blogs, etc., and they're demanding. And
that was about a year ago.
No, this is recent. It's actually flown abroad.
I came across that.
How recent? No, it's
recent. No. However, I must say, you know, for the sake of correct, information, the wife did come out because the guy had to be flown abroad. You know, although we've offered to pay for, we've reached out to the guy that was injured and we've offered to pay him, etc., and but that's not the point.
No.
The fact of the matter is, and what they're asking, and the hashtag is, why is this guy and everybody else like him, like Mr. Camouflage, what's the guy again? Mr. Camouflage Land Cruiser,
terrorizing everybody.
General in the army. I didn't say it's any different. I'm just telling you that.
That's what I'm saying. Mr. Camouflage Land Cruiser. Why do people go around, and why are they allowed, and why can't we do a citizen? Well, I mean, everybody gets out of their car and just stand in front of them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Uche, please go so I can
seriously, I mean, I've gotten to the point where I feel like I will carry a stone, like a rock or something, and just because I just feel like it's only when everybody just gets up and decides, you know what, I mean, we're not having this anymore, and then they start getting, and they won't, because I'm always thinking of how can you do it, and they will not know that you did it. Because once they know you did it, then nobody's gonna.
I think it's if we all stand. You know, if everybody got out of their car, refused to move their car, every single person, and
then would they shoot everybody? Yeah,
especially when the traffic is so tight.
Because
you're having to get on the pavement.
Because anyway, my problem with the whole thing is that psychology of, do you know who I am? I think we get so carried away with this thing that I feel that there's something lopsided about it. You're in the midst of
people who don't have hardly anything. And you're happy to elevate yourself above them, like some sort of God complex. So I feel that's the problem, you know. So here you have this money, you can't just enjoy your life without rubbing it in people's faces. You have to make them feel that they're rubbish so that they feel that you're better than them. It reminds me of an episode I had once, you know, abroad, funnily enough, and we're all together in an institution where we're learning, and this girl came out and said to this other girl, you know, it's only because we're here that in Nigeria you won't even be fit to tie my shoelace. I almost collapsed. I wanted to just bury myself. I'm like, all this time we thought we're thinking of ourselves as equal. Everybody has paid their fees to be here. And all this time you're thinking to yourself, if I was back in Nigeria, you're not fit to tie my shoelace. That's the kind of mentality that people export. The Nigerian mentality where you think that you're somebody because of the money you have.
Can't get Nigeria out of the girl.
Yeah, so for me, that materialistic, do you call it snobbish thing? It's so superficial. It's so... It has no value as far as I'm concerned. You're lower than the person you're looking down on because you think you're better than them. So whenever I see people trying to overtake me, I say, do you think you're better than me? I block them because I say, why should you feel...
want to do it with one of those you know, there's a story of the girl that got beat up. When I first moved there, the girl that got beaten up. And I think
you look at the cars before you block
Sometimes I do it on it because the other day someone did that. Somebody clipped on my car and kept going, and they had this Jeep and they looked like... I had my kids and I drove up to them and I said, why did you do that? My daughter was shaking, like, Mom, don't. I said, why did you do that? The guy said, oh, he didn't know. She goes, well, at least he was humble enough to.
Yeah, no, you're lucky. But honestly, I wouldn't. Like I was saying, you know, my driver was saying to me, oh, you know, that's you know, you just block them, everything. I said, look, you don't, the fact of the matter, we don't know what we're dealing with here, you know, with the police. They call it accidental discharge, and that's
I guess this is why we all have to stand together.
They beat you to death, and then that's that. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth dying for? Because a lot of these situations are a matter of life and death.
So I guess the question Chuka is asking is if there's a legal redress, then maybe what you do is take a photograph, get the registration, and then when you're safe, you pursue them legally because they need to be brought to justice.
It's not in our constitution that they can drive around in a convoy. It actually isn't in our constitution unless a lawyer is going to write to us. I don't remember anything in our constitution that says you can drive and intimidate the citizens with a convoy of aggression.
But you do know that if you're a very high government official, you can have a convoy. And the convoy may not be the Nigerian protection. No, I was going to put it the right way, correct. You can have protection. And what is that protection? I can go as far as to say, if I'm in a car, I want one behind and one in front. Depends on who I am, maybe the president of this country. Because I see the Prime Minister of England with just one and one and one.
And motorbikes, so the motorbike guys.
The motorbikes are even on ceremonial things.
No, I've seen
not always.
David Cameron has been passed.
What I mean, not
but
always.
They go ahead
if they're traveling outside London or something, there will be a motorcycle.
But then can they jump the queue? Because I guess they can. But by virtue of that convoy, can they jump the queue? Can they do all that sort of?
If they're in a hurry.
Stop us.
If they're in a hurry. If they're always in a hurry.
I mean, it's happened to me.
They're always in a hurry.
England.
But in truth, not always. There are times when the Prime Minister is actually in a bit of, I would say, a bit of a hold up. And
but what I'm even saying is, I think what you're saying is that it's not that you can't have security.
Yes.
Certain people should be allowed to have security, and we respect the fact that if you're the president, the vice president, the governor, but that doesn't mean you have six. You don't need six.
That's
convoy. You know, you don't need somebody carrying a gun.
I know. Imagine.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Then it's worse when you move it to private people.
Yes.
Like bank.
There's abuse.
That's the one that really gets me.
MDs and so on. And those ones are a bunch of idiotic human beings. Any bank managing director that goes around like the army general is an idiot.
So for me, you're dealing with the psychology, and I think you're dealing with the mindset that needs to be dealt with.
That's what he is.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not insulting.
So there's something about the mindset. Because I remember once, very quickly, an experience we had where when we're younger, we're in the car of one of these high-ranking officials, and they wanted to show off to us. We're just children with the child of one of these high-ranking. They wanted to show off to us. This guy goes, watch. They put the siren, and they were zigzagging, and I was scared for my life. And I thought there was no reason for that. The drivers just knew they could display. So a lot of these people running around with sirens. I mean,
but you know, I say to you, be careful. Like I've got at this moment, I actually just remembered, and I've got to give a shout out to her, Ufoma McDermott.
Okay.
Who is an actress. She's an actor, a female actor, Ufoma McDermott. She stood up to one, and she did not. I mean, As in, she's my hero when it comes to that. She stood up and she wasn't allowing any kind of nonsense.
Good.
And I think good for her.
I wish we would all do that because, you know, I think that's the only way we can put an end to this nuisance because it truly is a nuisance. Coming in today with the traffic and everything and having that noise was just...
I think, you know, I think what... so where I was going with the lawyers is basically that there are many things we need to correct in this country, and I feel that there are many ways lawyers could help us with the way to fight it. Like, oh, why don't 12 of you institute a case, a class action or something? In many things, that's what Gani Faweimi was doing. And now there's nobody to tell, and Falana and the rest of them, they are less now. Gani was the main person who was trying to teach us that lawyers...
Well, don't worry. Chuka will all come together and we will put together this class action.
That was Chuka's way of saying
I look forward to reporting that this advocacy has led to progressive action. So watch this space. Ekene sets out to cool down the polity after the break.